I turned 39 in April, so there's 1 year left of my glorious 30s, which have been the years where I have grown, explored, and little by little come to understand myself, and I like who I am. I consider myself a late bloomer. Most of my friends at this stage have one or two children, are pregnant, straight, or have been in long-term monogamous relationships since their late 20s. And I'm only just coming around to these notions now. When I was younger, I thought I wasn't a very sexual person, so I went through the motions but didn't really explore it too deeply. And certainly any thoughts of queerness or bisexuality were not indulged, and any desires I might have had towards women, I just saw as sexual fantasies which were normal for straight women, right? So I thought, how did I get here? My earliest memories of desire from P3, and I remember wanting to kiss Emma in the playground and also wanting to kiss Keith. Emma was more of an urgent desire and Keith was more romantic. For secondary school, I went to an all-girls school and I was obsessed with the older girls. I wanted to be like them and I was very shy around them. But now I think I was also attracted to some of them. When I became a teenager and stayed over at friends' houses, afterwards I would fantasize that they would try to kiss me or seduce me. I had these fantasies about boys too, but they seemed much more romantic and I wanted them to love me and respect me. In any case though, I give no real deep thought to these sexual desires towards girls. How would I have known what that meant? We didn't really talk about it. The first time I had sex was in Stirling University in 1999 with Ed. I fell for him very quickly, so much so that I decided he'd be the one to sleep with for the first time. It was great, and I actually said out loud during it, "I can't believe we're having sex." On reflecting about this time though, I realised that I also fancied girls. One girl I remember in particular on the hockey team and worked in the SU. I remember her talking about fancying girls and saying something like she couldn't resist a head of long flowing blonde hair. And I wasn't nervous around her, but curious and definitely wanted her to notice me, but I never sought out these experiences. My first love happened in 2002 when I was 21, Ronan. He was a truly beautiful soul. I wrote him love letters and he wrote to me, and we spent a whole year and a half together. And he definitely was the first person I ever loved, who ever loved me. But I struggled with my desires and emotions, and I tried to talk about what it meant to be with one person, but still fancy others. But I was only 21, and so was he, so we weren't really equipped to have these kinds of conversations. On Valentine's Day, the first and only one I've ever had, over a lovely dinner that he'd organised for me, I told him that I was worried I might be a lesbian. He cried so hard that night that I took it back. I really did love him, I just didn't understand how to understand myself. So my 20s came and went, lots of different men, boyfriends, one night stands, but no experiences with women, and I never really thought about it. Then my 30s arrived. My first sexual encounter with a woman came when I was 33 in the summer of 2014. She was a lesbian, Russian, and very forward about her intentions. I kissed her at a party and it was so soft and different to kissing men, and I really liked it, but somehow I still didn't equate that this may be a part of my sexuality, but put it down to just a one-off experience that I could tick off. Then summer 2015 came, and that's when I knew something was up. Mariah, a beautiful queer filmmaker from LA. I can only describe how I felt about her as violently attracted. I ached for her. I stopped being a real person around her, and I wanted her to think I was so cool. I spent one night hanging out with her drinking and held on to that memory for weeks after. Nothing ever happened, but she drove me crazy with desire. I was like a stupid teenager around her. So later that summer, Pride 2015, I decided I must be the B in the LGBTQIA and marched with the bisexuals next to a Bi Furious banner that my friend had made, excited to test out this new me, finally accepting that this was a part of me and that I could be a part of Pride. So there we were after the march, drinking in the Hudson, and we were outside in the Hudson Yard, and I was watching everyone gravitate towards Mariah, wishing that she would notice me, wishing I had the balls to be cool around her, but knowing that I wanted her and feeling excited by this new me. I was talking to her friend, a woman, and I said that I was bisexual out loud. And then her friend came on to me and I blurted out, no thanks, I'm interested in Mariah, like a total burn. So fast forward a bit, February 2019. I liked them both. I had desires for them both. These feelings were real and I owed it to myself to explore them. I asked her out on the Monday and took her for dinner and to the cinema. She was intense and beautiful. She enjoyed flirting with me but didn't show intentions of following through. But that was okay. I just needed to know that I could do it. I took him to watch the murmuration of the starlings over the Albert Bridge on the Tuesday. I was afraid because he made me feel something. 2 weeks later, we went to the Sunflower and drank and talked and drank and laughed. We had one last whiskey. I was drunk. He drank a gulp out of my glass to make sure I didn't get any more drunk. He was looking after me. When we got home, we fell onto my sofa, ripping each other's clothes off, desperate to be close. He made me laugh really hard. His eyes were dark, beautiful, golden brown. He was sincere when he spoke. His skin was beautiful, and for a year we loved each other passionately and truly. He was my alma gemela, my twin soul. So here and now, we met one night this year. We'd known each other before. We got drunk and chatted and danced closely in a club. She told me I was beautiful and kissed me in front of everyone. I liked it. I didn't care who saw, and I kissed her back. She's beautiful. Her skin is soft and she smells like coconut. She's flirtatious and asks me out on dates. We've kissed passionately under the festoon lights at midnight in my backyard. Truth is, pan, bi, queer, I haven't settled on my label or my preference, and I'm starting to think I don't have to either. I can honestly tell you that the reason I'm attracted to someone is not based on their gender, it's based on their soul. I've understood that love and desire present themselves in different ways, and to be open to that's a wonderful thing. So finally I can say, okay, I'm out, and I'm not going to miss any opportunities. True love will find you in the end. You'll find out just who's your friend. Don't be sad, I know you will. Don't give up until true love will find you in the end. That's a song by Daniel Johnston. Thank you for listening to me.